Things are getting pretty lonely for President Biden in his own party. According to Politico, Democrats are worried Biden's scary poll numbers will lead to a midterm bloodbath, and some are making sure to distance themselves from the commander-in-chief, like vulnerable House Democrat Jared Golden, who says he's not worried about Biden's sinking numbers, and here's why. Quote, "What I know about his approval ratings right now versus my own is that I'm outpacing him by about 30 points." Harold, for Democrats, they better hang together or they will all hang separately at the midterms.
I think you're right. I'd say two things. There need to be some personnel changes at the top of this.
Oh boy, you better take my prediction.
I'm not going to take your prediction, but I think they've got to look at, number one, you don't try to tell the public what they should be thinking and how they're living and what they're experiencing in their communities. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You do that at your own peril. You generally lose a race. You meet people where they are, and if you want to take them to another place, you first got to meet them. You got to explain what your plan is and how and why your vision is better than their opponents. Right now, the opponent Democrats have really is just a non-Biden, non-Democrat vision. If you look at the most recent polling from the Journal, people are disappointed with what we think are the priorities for the country. Our priorities have to match what everyday Americans are thinking, whether it be what they're buying at the grocery store, what they're buying at the pump, the gas station, be what their kids are learning in school. We can still win this thing. It's 11 months away. I think about where we were 11 months ago today. We're obviously in a very, very different place. Now, a lot will have to change. I would focus on the border. I would focus on the economy, and I would focus on COVID. You focus on those three things, and you put the personnel around you that can help you do those things, you got a fighting chance to win.
Would you add crime to that? Because there's been no federal response on crime.
There's no doubt about it. Some of the things I talked about in the last segment that just really was a summary of some of the things we're around the table. I would figure out ways to help mayors with mental health and with getting police officers back on the street.
But we just saw it in the A block with Uncle Larry Krasner in Philadelphia. He spent all of his whole press conference saying, "We don't have a problem. There's nothing happening here. You don't believe your own eyes. The murders are not up. The crime is not up." And so it feels like they are really disconnected, and there's no real cohesiveness from the top.
So he should feel their pain instead of trying to spin their pain. He can't say, "Oh, everything's great in this country." Country doesn't think everything is great. The country feels like this country is going down, 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 and that's where he looks like he's out of touch. If I were a Democrat running for re-election, you know what I'd do, Dana?
What?
I would retire. I would go become a lobbyist, and I'd golf all day, because why do I want to sit around and dial for dollars if I'm going to get smoked in the midterms? The donors don't want to give me any money. They know I'm getting smoked, right? So, I mean, what if I'm going to run for re-election? I want Joe Biden to come take a picture with me. I don't want a photo with Joe. I'd have Mayor Pete take a picture with me. I'd have Michelle come over and take a pic. But, I mean, Biden shows up. The crowd doesn't even show up. What's the point?
Obama. You forgot about
get me
Obama.
Barack. But that's the point. So he's not Barack. Barack was black. He was historic, all right? Trump. He's not Trump. Trump was historic. They both had huge bases, and both of those guys' parties got crushed in the midterms. What does Joe have going for him? He's got nothing. He's got no charisma, and the fundamentals of the country are off. With the supply chains, inflation, the high crime, the high gas prices, the open border. This is a funeral landscape for the party in power, and I don't see how they're going to spin their way out of it.
One thing, Katie, when you think about Jared Golden, this congressman's quote about being 30 points ahead of Biden, is that if you're a voter that's disgusted with Biden, it's not like you're going to vote for another Democrat that distanced themselves from Biden. You look what happened in Virginia. You'll vote for a Republican if you feel like that Republican meets you where you are.
Well, to your question about hanging together, hanging separately, it's hard for Democrats to hang together when there are so many different factions in the party. And you've seen this play out with Build Back Better and Joe Biden having a really hard time getting that across the finish line. And when it comes to Democrats who are saying, no, I would like to not retire and keep my job, they're looking at their own polling and the issues that are affecting their voters. They're hearing directly from constituents who are calling their offices every single day about inflation. Kristen Sinema, senator from Arizona, Democrat, has talked about this a lot. She's been one of the people holding up Joe Biden's agenda in the Senate, says inflation is actually a real problem for people in Arizona, and the administration is not addressing it properly. And so they're looking at their own numbers and trying to distance themselves from the president and hoping that their votes and the way that they interact with the people calling their office will benefit them during the midterms.
There really was a big, if you think about last year, they were screaming at each other over defund the police after the midterm, saying that this absolutely hurt us. And then you just continue through 2021 and you see more of it.
Well, it's not just that, but to his point, if you just played the game of dominoes, if you tightened up the border, that would help law enforcement, that would help the cities, that would help the economy. It's just one thing, but when you have 6 or 7 different versions of the Democratic Party fighting over who's going to get the best soundbite, nothing will ever get accomplished. You have to fix one real thing, not imaginary things, not, oh, we're going to have infrastructure in 10 years, guys. To what town?
Right.
Because we're all moving. By the time you get infrastructure in California, we'll be in New LA, Montana with the 7, the new show, because they don't just give us one, just one. Fix the border and let the dominoes fall. Come on, Joe.
Come on, Joe, is what Tyrus says. You better listen to Tyrus. All right, ahead, fresh off the chaos in Afghanistan, President Biden and Vladimir Putin facing off ahead of another potential foreign policy crisis.